Hello there friends and followers, and welcome to this Explain 11 video. Today we are going to be conducting a full tutorial of the Flight Factor A350. The A350 has been around for a long time and finally received a long overdue update to include the SIDs and stars in the MCDU. There are many other fixes and enhancements made to the aircraft, but the inclusion of the SIDs and stars in this aircraft is the highlight of the recent update. So without further ado, let's get started. For the purposes of this tutorial today, we are going to be flying this Air France livery from Barcelona to Toulouse in France. Our flight time today is approximately 1 hour and 12 minutes, and we're going to be cruising at 32,000 feet. Welcome to the flight deck. As you can see here, there are some changes made to the cockpit textures. It looks pretty okay to me. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to head over to the overhead panel, and we're going to turn on the batteries. And then we're going to head back here and increase the volume a bit. I'm not sure why it comes as the volume is completely turned off here. So we've got that done, and we can continue now. Now the easiest way to power up the A350 is to make sure that all the lights are off. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to head over here and turn on everything with the exception of this one here. We're going to leave it because it is already on. And supply crew, the gens here, the bus tie, and the packs, engine bleeds. Just about everything there is turned on. We'll leave the fuel for now, but we're going to turn on the rest of the items here and here. Okay, so now we've got all the buttons here turned on. In fact, let's go ahead and turn on the fuel pumps. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to head over to this iPad here, or control panel, and we're going to leave everything here as it is. We are going to go to ground services. We're going to click on the doors, and again we're just going to say open all doors. And then we're going to go to airplane for passengers, and we're going to select middle, for example, and we're going to say implement. Oh, that's right. So we need to go back to the ground services and the ground equipment. We'll put stairs, chocks, passenger bus, fuel truck, luggage loader, and everything else is there. That's fine. And now we can go back to airplane, and now we can implement passengers. So we're just going to say middle and implement, and then we're going to go to the fuel. Now for this flight, we don't really need that much fuel, but let's just go ahead and put 17,000 kilos of fuel. That's pretty good, and we're going to say implement. Okay. All right, so the next thing we're going to do, we're going to take a look here at the cabin. We're going to add a little bit of light here so people can see what's going on. Door status, we'll leave it at all. We'll leave it for now. Just leave that. Performance calculator, we're going to come to later on once we set up our flight plan. Okay, so we are pretty much done here. And we are now ready to start programming the MCDU and the rest of the aircraft systems. Okay, so we're going to set the ADIRS to nav mode. Okay, and everything else here looks okay to me. All right, and we are going to come down here and turn on the anti-skid. And now we are ready to power up the APU. So we're going to click here on the APU master, and we're just going to wait for everything to load up. Okay, and turn it on. We can set the airflow to normal and set the temperature right there. And we can turn on the nav lights. Now that we have the passengers, so we can turn on the seatbelt signs on, as well as the non-smoking sign. Emergency light is now armed. Okay, So everything is looking good here. Let's take a look, and the APU is almost there now. EGT is still rising, temperature is rising 100%, so we should be able to turn on the APU bleed. So the APU gen is turned on, and now the APU is available, so we'll turn on the APU. We'll set this to auto, and we are pretty much now ready to program the MCDU. Okay. So actually programming the MCDU is quite simple, so nothing that you're not accustomed to. So here's what we're going to do. We are first going to click on system 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we're going to come here to the radios, and we're going to set a menu. Let's see here, VHF1, and we're going to turn the volume here and here. Let's turn these guys on and add a little bit, add a little bit of volume. Okay, we are now ready to start programming the flight plan into the MCDU, and we're going to go to init, and the flight number today is Air France. So we'll just say AFR, and by the way, you can just use your keyboard here, 345, and we're going to be taking off today from I always forget the ICO code. Lima Echo Bravo Lima. Lima Echo Bravo Lima to Toulouse, which is Lima Foxtrot Bravo Oscar. And the cruise altitude for the flight today is 32,000 feet. The cost index we can just grab from Sim Toolkit Pro. Is 200. All right, so let's type in 200 for the cost index. What's going on there? Okay, 200, and enter that. And now we can go to the IRSs here. Let's see here, alignment in 6 minutes. Okay, very well. Let's return. Okay, so now we're going to go to departure, and we're going to select the departing runway. The departing runway is 25, let's see, 25 right through the grouse to Papa departure, 25 right. Okay, so we'll select 25 right, which is this one here, and the SID is the grouse to Papa, and there is no transition. Temporary flight plan, and then insert, and now we have the SID programmed into the MCDU. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a look here, and after grouse we have uniform mic 601, which is this airway. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to click here and say airways, and we're going to put the airway here, which is uniform mic 601. So uniform mic 601, and hit enter, and now this takes you to the next one here. So this one is going to exit at Ronnie. So we're going to come back here and enter Ronnie. Then we're going to go to the next airway. The next airway is uniform November 871. Okay, uniform November 871, and enter. And that airway will terminate at top 2. So that's top 2. Right, that is now done, and we can now check our flight plan, and then it would be our star into Toulouse. So that's the top 2, 6 Tango. Okay, runway 32 left. Okay, top 2, 62 Tango. Okay, so we're done with here. So we're going to say temp plan and insert. And then we're going to click on Toulouse, which is our arrival, and 32 left is our runway. The approach is an ILS runway 32 left via, and then we can select this one here, and the star is the top 2 6 Tango. That's the one there, and there is no transition. Then we're going to insert the plan, and now the plan is done. Now we can take a look at our plan to make sure there are no discos. As you can see, there's one disco here, so we are going to take air of that one if we can. There we go, and we're going to delete it and insert, and let's check the rest of the plan, make sure there are no other discos, and as you can see now there are no more discos in our flight plan. Alright, so we can head back here and we can select plan, and now as you can see we can see the plan here. So one thing you'll notice is that you still have to cycle back and forth. It doesn't really automatically take you to the beginning. So now we can cycle through. This is our departure at runway 25 right, and the rest of our plan, just take a look here. The top of descent, and then top of climb, top of climb, then top of descent, and then it's our approach at Toulouse, runway 32 left. Should be a short and nice flight. Let's set this back here to arc, and the IRSs are still not aligned, so we can align them momentarily. We're going to increase the range here a bit. So we can come here now and go to the init page and go to IRS and say align IRS. So we kind of force the alignment here to align a bit quicker. All right, we are now ready to enter the performance data. So to do this, we are gonna go to takeoff performance right there. Okay, now to do this, we're gonna come over here, and the runway slope, you can just type 0.0, and the flap setting is going to be flaps 1 today for departure. And once you hit enter, you'll get the V1, V2, and V rotate speeds, as well as the flex temperature. So V1 is 137, V rotate is 137, so 1, 3, and 7. Let's see here, 137. Okay, and the V2 is 140. So we'll type 140. 140. There we go. Flaps 1 today for departure. All right, and everything else is really set here. The flex temperature is 57, so we're going to type that here, and we're going to specify the temperature. So we are derating and enter. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are all set. Everything is ready for us to actually push back out of our position and start the aircraft. But before we do so, let's make sure that everything is set up in terms of the aircraft system. So we're going to come down here to performance. That is all set. We are looking good. That's the climb, cruise, that's the descent, and the approach. We can enter the approach data as soon as we take off and be while en route to Toulouse. So takeoff data is all set. We're going to come here and we are going to select fuel and load is fine. It's you don't really need to enter anything here. You're fine. Wind is fine as well, and then position is fine here. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to go back to the FMS, and we're going to click on the controls here. Make sure all our controls are turned on. So we're going to turn on all the terrain mode, GWS, GS mode, flap mode, all of that is done. And we're going to turn on the wind turbulence gain mode, all the weather on VD, all of that good stuff. This is already on auto, so we're going to put it on TARA, and TCAS is on normal, and we're going to put the transponder on auto. The switches, all our systems are on, so we are now ready to go. All right, let's go ahead and close all the aircraft doors and dismiss the ground services. So first thing, we're going to close all the doors. Then we are going to go to the airplane beg your pardon, we need to go to ground still and go to the ground equipment, remove the stairs, remove the chocks, passenger bus, fuel truck, and the luggage loader. And now we are ready for engine start. Okay, let's go ahead and turn the beacon light on, and everything else is looking good. So we are gonna put the engine mode selector on start, and we're gonna start the engine number 2 first. Okay, engine number 2 is now starting. I am not sure what this guy is doing here while the engine is starting, but I'm sure that he's going to be sucked in pretty soon. So, we're starting the engine number 2 first. The texturing is very nice on this aircraft, I must say. So yeah, a little bit of improvement there in terms of the PBR and, you know, all that good stuff. Really nice texturing on the Flight Factor A350. It's a fine aircraft in my view, quite detailed if you ask me as well. All right, so we have a good start on engine number 2. Let's go ahead and start the engine number 1, and engine number 1 is now spooling. All right, in the meantime, we are going to get our weather information. So the QNH is 1017, so let's go ahead and set that. Now, there we go, 1017, and the same thing, oops. And the same thing here, 1017, that is also set. Our cruise altitude today, folks, is going to be 32,000 feet. So let's go ahead and set that. Oh, come on. All right. 32,000 feet is set, and we are now ready to go. Looks like engine number 1 is now stable. So we're going to go ahead and put the engine start or the engine mode selector to normal, and we now can dismiss the APU bleed and the APU unit, and everything is looking good now for our flight. All right, so now we are ready to set our flaps to flaps 1. And to do this, we're going to just set flaps 1 here. And we're going to arm the speed brakes. So we can see now it says, the captain door is unlocked. And to lock it, you just need to come here and click on lock. And now it is locked. Okay, looks like all is good. Let's see here. It's takeoff configuration. Okay, so the only thing you need to do really is to click here, and then everything's good. So parking brake, seat belt, speed brake armed, all is looking good. Okay, so we are ready to head over to the runway. Everything is looking good now. There are no warning lights or anything like that. So let's go ahead and release the parking brake and taxi to the runway. Now, you will notice that there is a problem with the throttle. So now look, it's in reverse, and then now it's in flex. So that is something that probably needs fixing, but that's okay. So as you can see, the aircraft is going back, so we're just going to do this, and then we're going to bring it back, and just, you know, put yeah, you need to kind of just figure it out. It's very annoying, and hopefully, you know, an update will come to fix this. Okay, let's head over to the runway now, runway 25 right for departure, and it should be at the end of this taxiway here. All right, folks, we are cleared for takeoff. Runway 25 right. Let's go. 50%. There we go. That's the Flex, Manflex, SRS, and runway. And we are going to rotate at 137 knots. All right, we're coming up to V1. V1 and rotate.
V1.
Pause ready to climb. Gear is going up. Now you probably noticed that the gear has gone up quite rapidly, which is, I'm not really sure if it's realistic or not, but it doesn't seem that way. So yeah, I think it probably needs a bit of tweaking as well. It's too fast of a retraction. Right, let's set climb thrust. Right, climb thrust is now set, and we can now retract the flaps, and we can engage the autopilot. Autopilot 1 is engaged, and now the aircraft autopilot system has taken over, and as usual, I forgot the clock. So there we go. The clock is now there, and we can set this to terrain. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to enter the information for our destination. Let's turn off the landing lights. Takeoff lights is off. Runway turn off lights, and the wing lights, the beacon and the strobe can stay on. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and enter the destination information in the MCDU, and then I will see you guys right before top of descent. As there is really nothing more to do, and for the purposes of our tutorial, I just really wanted to show you how to start the aircraft from what's called the dark state, set your fuel, take off, and then land the aircraft. So there are a couple of things we need to do. We need to enter the destination information, and we also need to set the ILS frequency right down here. Okay? So we are good, and let's go ahead and enter the destination information now. So we're going to come down here, and we are going to select performance, and then we are going to go to the approach. Now this is Toulouse runway 32 left where we're going to depart, so we can go to our Sim Toolkit Pro and take a look at the weather information. And as you can see, the altimeter is, let's see here, 1015. So we're going to enter that for the Barrow reference. It's actually not there. Okay, so we don't need it. Fine. Let's go ahead and enter the wind direction and speed. We've got 206. So 200 degrees, and the speed is 06. Okay, and the outside temperature is currently 32. So we're going to put that here, 32, and that's actually the QNH 1015. All right, done. We're going to do let's see here, VREF is 137, flaps full is at 131. The app is 137, yeah, that's fine. Okay, so all's looking good now for our arrival. All right, so if we go to the initialization page and we go to the nav IDs, all right, so this is the ILS frequency and the approach course. So 109.5 is the ILS frequency for 32 left at Toulouse. So we're going to come here to the menu, and let's see here, menu. There we go, nav, ILS, and then we're going to say 109.50, and that is done, and the approach course is 115, and we're pretty much done here. All right, so we're actually now ready for our descent and approach into Toulouse in France, and all is looking good. We can release the passengers now, so we're going to turn off the seatbelt sign and the non-smoking sign, and now everything is looking good. Speed brake, also we can disarm it, and it is disarmed now, and we are now all looking good and configured for our approach and landing into Toulouse. So I will see you guys at about 30 nautical miles from the top of descent mark. Lots of systems simulated in the Flight Factor A320. Overall, I think it's a nice aircraft. In fact, with just a few more updates in terms of the interior and things like that, I think it would be really one of the best airplanes. So here we go. That's the top of descent mark, and let's go ahead and initiate an open descent to 9,000 feet. The final approach platform, or the platform altitude for this flight today, is 3,000 feet. So we are looking pretty good now. We continue our descent towards Toulouse now, and we are now at 210 knots and 16,000 feet. There is a restriction at 15,000, as you can see here. So we are okay, we're looking good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reset the MCP altitude to 3,000 feet, which is the platform altitude today. So we are looking pretty good now, and all is well. All right, let's go ahead and turn on the landing system on both sides. And the transition altitude is, I believe, 5,000 feet here at Toulouse. Let's take a look. Transition, yes, 5,000 feet. So we are looking good on the... all the parameters are looking pretty good now for our approach. We are almost there now, and all is looking good. The auto brake is now armed, the speed brake is armed, and we are configured for our landing into Toulouse, runway 32 left. As you can see, we are about 25 nautical miles from the runway now, and this is the remainder of our flight plan. This is the runway here. We are at about 9,000 feet. Which is pretty good, and we're descending at 1,200 feet per minute. All right, folks, we are almost there now. As you can see, we are now approaching the transition altitude of 5,000 feet. So let's go ahead and set the barrel reference here to 1016, and on the other side as well. 016 is set, and speed brake is armed, the auto brake is armed, and all is looking good now for our approach. The We're going to do this in managed speed, so I think this is the approach phase will begin shortly, and we are actually looking pretty good. The final approach, the platform altitude is 3,000 feet, and we are now approximately 14 nautical miles from the runway. So what we're going to do momentarily is activate the approach button, and from that point forward, we will wait until the glide slope is active at about 1,000 feet from the runway. We will disengage the autopilot and take over and land the aircraft. All right, so let's take a look here. As you can see here, this is at 250 knots. At the next waypoint, we need to be at 242, and now we can see the speed. We're descending, we're decelerating now. And the localizer is active, so we're going to hit the approach button, and we are now at exactly 3,000, which is the platform altitude. Speed is doing good. Let's go ahead and arm the speed brake once more. And now, as you can see, we are decelerating. We are now almost there. That's the runway right there. Right, and speed check, flaps 1. And that is our final turn to runway 32 left at Toulouse. Localizer is active. Speed check, flaps 2. All right, let's engage autopilot 2. Speed check, flaps 3. And the runway is right ahead of us now. And we should begin seeing the glide slope now. As you can see, the needle started moving. And one dot above the center line here, we will lower the landing gear and go to flaps full. All right, landing gear is going down. And flaps full. And as you can see now, we have begun the descent towards the runway.
2,000. 2,000.
We're looking good.
2,000.
The glide slope is good. Localizer is good. Really nice scenery of Toulouse. Beautiful sky colors and clouds by X-Vision. This is the impressive preset with Lua. All right, we're going to monitor the altitude here at exactly 1,000. We will disengage the autopilot and hand fly the aircraft. Right, let's make sure that the signs are on. I actually forgot about the signs. Cabin is ready. And we are almost there now. All right, that's close enough. Let's go ahead and disengage the autopilot.
1,000. Priority left.
This one. There we go. All right, my aircraft
500.
Right, we're looking good. 500 feet.
400. 300.
Terrain.
200. 100, 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, retard, 10,
Long
10,
landing, 2,700 meters remaining.
And touchdown. Looks like the passengers approve of the landing. I can hear them clapping in the back. All right.
1,500 remaining.
Welcome to Toulouse, ladies and gentlemen. And we've made it safely here. We're going to bring the aircraft to a complete stop somewhere here, and we're going to take a look at the landing for sure. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope that it was useful and informative. So let's go ahead and just bring the aircraft to a complete stop right over here and take a look at the landing. Right there is perfect. Parking brake is set. Let's take a look at the landing. Before we do so, we can consult SimBrief. The landing rate was minus 190, which is pretty good, I think. So let's go ahead now and take a look. Let's do a complete flight. All right, let's take a look at our landing. Well, folks, this pretty much brings us to the conclusion of our video today. I hope that you've enjoyed this tutorial and found it useful. If you have any questions, please do post them in the comment section below. I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. Until next time, please take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you all very soon. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye for now.